7 things to note in the new Afghan government. The second Taliban regime is in many ways a reflection of the first. Many of the same groups are still in power. It is non-inclusive and Pashtun-dominated. The stamp of the ISI is unmistakable. And among the men now in charge are global terrorists with rewards on their heads and former Gitmo inmates. The Taliban announced their cabinet Tuesday evening, 3 days after the chief of Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence, Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, reached Kabul to decide on government formation. In terms of structure, the new government in Kabul is similar in some ways to the one in Tehran. The top religious leader of the Taliban, Mullah Habibullah Akhundzada, is Afghanistan's supreme authority, even though he is not part of the government. According to a statement released after the cabinet's appointment, Akhundzada has instructed the new government to uphold Islamic rules and Sharia law in Afghanistan. In the statement released in English, Akhundzada also urged those in charge to protect the country's highest interest and to ensure lasting peace, prosperity and development. Here are 7 key things to note about the new Afghan government. First, it has Pakistani stamp all over it. The imprint of Rawalpindi is visible in the dominance in the new cabinet of the leaders of the Haqqani network terrorist outfit and the Kandahar-based Taliban group. The Taliban group based in Doha, which has been negotiating with the international community and had established contacts with New Delhi, appears to have been sidelined. The hands of Pakistan is evident in the choice of the new Prime Minister, Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund, and the induction of several Haqqanis in the interim Afghan government. The ISI chief reached Kabul 3 days ago to ensure that its proxies get plum posts. For India, the Haqqanis getting Afghan government berth is bad news. The assessment in New Delhi is that at least 20 of the 33 men in the new cabinet are from the Kandahar-based Taliban group and the Haqqani network. Second, the biggest winner is Haqqani. From New Delhi's perspective, Sirajuddin Haqqani as Afghanistan's interior minister is the most telling signal that the cabinet has been handpicked by the ISI. Sirajuddin Haqqani, son of former Mujahideen fighter and CIA asset Jalaluddin Haqqani, whose death was announced in September 2018, is head of the Haqqani network, a sprawling Islamist terrorist mafia with close ties to Al-Qaeda based in Pakistan's North Waziristan. Haqqani was responsible for the terrorist attacks on the Indian embassy in Kabul in 2008 that killed 58 people and the attacks against Indians and Indian interests in Afghanistan in 2009 and 2010. As Interior Minister, Haqqani's mandate will include not just law and order but also appointments of provincial governors under the garb of local governance. This will mean that he will have leverage and the ability to pack the country's provinces with his and the ISI's handpicked men. The sense in South Bloc is that they will have deep strategic consequences for India and for the region as a whole. Sirajuddin Haqqani is also designated global terrorist. The Reward for Justice program of the United States Department of State has offered a reward of up to 10 million rupees for information leading directly to his arrest. Sirajuddin is wanted for questioning in connection with the January 2008 attack on a hotel in Kabul that killed 6 people including an American citizen. He is believed to have coordinated and participated in cross-border attacks against the US and coalition forces in Afghanistan. He was also allegedly involved in planning the attempted assassination of then Afghan President Hamid Karzai in 2008, the FBI says on its website. The other Haqqani is an important position in Khalil Haqqani, the new Minister for Refugees. He too is a specially designated global terrorist who has close ties to Al-Qaeda and has aided and acted on behalf of Al-Qaeda's military. Khalil Haqqani, who has appeared in several photographs from Afghanistan over the past few weeks, is the brother of Jalaluddin Haqqani and the uncle of Sirajuddin. This is a State Department reward of up to $5 million for information that brings to justice Khalil Haqqani. One of the trusted men of Haqqani is Mullah Taj Mir Jawad, who will be Deputy Intelligence Chief of the new government. Jawad led the Kabul attack network which organized the various Islamist jihadi groups including Al-Qaeda in and around Kabul. Third, the Taliban old guard remain in charge. The cabinet announced on Tuesday is filled with Taliban from the previous regime led by Mullah Muhammad Omar. Many are on the United Nations terror list. All are considered extremely close to the ISI. The Prime Minister Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund is the hardline chief of the decision-making Rehbari Shura Council of Leaders, often called the Quetta Shura, after the Pakistani city where many of the Taliban fled after the US-led invasion of Afghanistan following the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. Akhund is also the man who ordered the destruction in 2001 of the magnificent standing Buddha statues that were carved into the side of a cliff in the Bamiyan Valley in the 6th century. Akhund, who is on the UN terror list, belongs to Kandahar, the birthplace of Taliban, and was among the founders of the Islamic movement. He worked for 20 years as head of the Rehbari Shura and remained close to Mullah Habibullah Akhundzada, the supreme leader of the Taliban. Akhund had served as a foreign minister and deputy prime minister during Taliban first government in Afghanistan from 1996 to 2001. He was also the governor of Kandahar and vice president of the Council of Ministers in 2001. According to the UN, Akhund is 130 original Taliban. The National Security Archive of George Washington University states Akhund holds prejudice against both Westerners and Mujahideen. Considered one of the most effective commanders, studied at various madrasa in Pakistan. The acting Minister of Public Works Mullah Abdul Manan Omari is the brother of Taliban's founder leader Mullah Omar and the uncle of Omar's son Mullah Yaqub, who is the acting Minister for Defense in the new regime. Mullah Yaqub was a student of Mullah Habibullah Akhundzada, who had earlier appointed him as head of the powerful Taliban military commission. Fourth, Mullah Baradar has been edged out. Mullah Abdul Ghani, one of the co-founders of the Taliban in 1994, who is known as Baradar due to his closeness with founder leader Mullah Omar, had been the head of the Taliban's political office in Qatari capital Doha and was the main face of Taliban's negotiations with the world. Having been the man who signed the Doha agreement with the Americans, he was expected to head the Taliban regime, but though he remains in the government, he is the first deputy prime minister, having been edged out of the top post by Mullah Hassan Akhund. Abdul Salam Hanafi, an Uzbek by the ethnicity who too was part of the Doha negotiating team, will be the second deputy prime minister. Mullah Baradar was captured in February 2010 in Karachi after Pakistani intelligence discovered they had opened a channel of communication with then President Hamid Karzai. The Pakistanis released him in 2018 at the behest of the Trump administration, and from 2019 onwards, Baradar led the talks with Zalmay Khalid, the State Department Special Representative for Afghanistan's reconciliation. In March 2020, Baradar became the first Taliban leader to communicate directly with an American president when he spoke with Donald Trump by phone. It appears that his chances were scuttled by the ISI, which does not trust him entirely. Fifth, for all the promises made earlier, there is hardly any inconclusivity in the Taliban cabinet. As expected, no woman has found a place in the cabinet, and there are very few non-Pashtuns, only 3 out of 33. This has believed expectations in some quarters of the international community that the new Taliban would be inclusive and representative. The non-Pashtun member of Afghanistan's ethnic minorities in the government are the second deputy head of government Abdul Salam Hanafi, chief of the army staff Qari Fasiduddin, and the minister of economy Qari Din Hanif. Hanafi in Uzbek, while Fasiduddin and Hanif are Tajiks. Fasiduddin was key to the Taliban's advance in Badakistan in northeast Afghanistan, and naming him army chief is said to be a reward. There are women negotiators in the intra-Afghan talks in Doha, but none of them have found a place in the cabinet. Sixth, a potential Indian point of contact has been negated. India has reached out to Sher Mohammad Abbas Tansky, who has been considered as one of the main contenders for foreign minister, but he lost out in the race. Shenazgi, who had engaged with many international interlocutors in Doha as the deputy head of the Taliban office, has been sidelined. Deputy Foreign Minister is the same post that he had held in 1996 as well, before being moved as Deputy Health Minister. Stensky had met Deepak Mittal, India's ambassador to Qatar, on August 31, the first official contact between India and the new rulers of Afghanistan that was made public. Stensky's boss is Amir Khan Muttaqi, who has been named Foreign Minister. Muttaqi had served as the Minister of Information and Culture during the first Taliban regime. He too is on the UN terror list but had served as the Taliban representative in the United Nations-led talks during the earlier Taliban regime. Muttaqi was one of the members of the Doha group led by Baradar. 7th, there are some Guantanamo Bay prisoners in the cabinet. Terrorists who have been incarcerated at the Guantanamo Bay facility by the US for many years are among the members of the Taliban cabinet. The list includes Khairullah Khairwa, the Minister for Information and Culture, and Abdul Haq Hasik, the intelligence chief. Mullah Norwali Nuri, the Minister of Borders and Tribal Affairs, too is a former Gitmo inmate. Thank you.